Hello, I'm Doug Hughes, the pastor here at the Old Tennent Church, and I'm excited you've arrived at our website and that you're interested about learning a little bit more about us here. We are a very historical church and a historical congregation, but we are much more than just history. Unlike some of the comments I've heard, we're not just a museum, but we're an active congregation. Old Tennent is a thriving church with many opportunities for fellowship and for growth. Behind me, you'll see our beautiful and historic sanctuary. This building was built in 1751, making it 286 years old. The impressive thing about this also is this is our third building. Our first building was built in 1692, and we've been an active congregation for 327 years. But the best part is that every Sunday morning we gather inside to worship our Lord and sing praises to our God, who nurtures and redeems us just as our members have been doing for 327 years. We are members of the Presbyterian Church and always have been. We played an important role in the beginning and growth of the denomination, and in December of 1706, the very first Presbytery meeting was held in our first building, and during that meeting, one of the major agenda items at that meeting was the examination and ordination of John Boyd, who was the very first pastor to be ordained in the new colonies, and John Boyd became our first pastor in 1706. But we are a whole lot more than just history, and there's a lot more history to be read on our the history tab on the web page, which is probably up here somewhere. Now, let's take a peek inside. Not much has changed inside this building since it was built in 1751. As we look around the building, you'll see that 90 to 95% of this building is original, and we strive to keep it in tip-top condition. There is much to share and to show, but to be honest, we would rather do that in person, so come on down and visit with us. We'd love to have you join us during a Sunday morning worship service, but you're welcome to visit any day of the week. Just showing up is fine, but if you know you're coming, please let us know. Let's take a look at the entire interior of the building. The pulpit that you see behind us, there have been many famous pastors over the last 300 years that have all preached from this pulpit. Many of the names you might recognize, such as Jonathan Edwards, George Whitefield, Jacobus Frelinghuysen, and so many others who were early pioneers of the Presbyterian Church. Now let's go back outside and I will show you some of the other places here on the side. Let me point out a few other things here around our campus. If we come over here and look, see down here at the bottom of this hill is the red brick building is called Old Scots Hall. This is our church offices and educational rooms are located down there as well. This is where you'll find us throughout the week. Also, you'll find right next to the building is a very large parking lot area behind and next to Old Scots Hall. As we pan off to the west here a little bit more, you'll see the front entrance to the church and the grounds. And if you come in that way, there is parking along the front edge over here down the hill in front of the church. As we walk over this way, you'll see around the corner down here, you will see Neff Chapel. It's named after Reverend Charles Neff, who was the pastor here from 1924 to 1964. He was here 41 years as the pastor. Now, it's really not a chapel per se, but it's our fellowship hall and includes our commercial-sized kitchen. And there is ample parking both the side and in the back of this building as well. As we move now back to the front of the church, no quick introduction would be complete without mentioning the fact that this church was an important part of the Battle of Monmouth, which was one of the most significant battles during the American Revolution. Back that direction, you'll see a hill, there's a rise out there, and Washington's troops were within 500 yards of the church. So many fascinating stories to be told about the events of that day during the Battle of Monmouth. But let me close by saying, yes, we are very historical, and we have many historical stories to tell over the years. But we are much more than that. So come and visit with us, come worship with us, get to know us, maybe even stick around and join us. You never know. Thank you for listening.